Hi guys! Today we're going to start working on Beats 2, how to use the piano roll editor to make our drum beats. Instead of using the push, we're going to use the mouse and the computer to make our drum beats. Okay, I've passed around a sheet of paper and I'd like you to take a look at it and follow along as I explain the project. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is drag a drum set into a MIDI track. So we go to the browser and we find drums and we find a drum set that we want to use and we drop it into a MIDI track. The next thing we're going to do is double click on an empty cell in the track. This will let us see inside the clip. So I'm going to double click on it and there, it made an empty clip for us. I'm going to click on the triangle to make it green. Okay. Down here, this makes the time start, and that will allow us to hear our beat as we're creating it. The next step is we've got one measure of time. All these numbers here start with 1. It's all talking about measure 1. And we're going to go change this loop length to 2 measures of time. So click in that length box, hit 2 and enter, and now we have one measure of time right here, and now we have a second measure right here. Okay? So the next thing we need to do is step 6. Raise the piano roll window so you can see all of the drums. We go to this long light gray bar, and the tool becomes that. And then we raise that up and we can see all of our drums. The last one is the kick drum down here. We're going to change our cursor from the arrow to the pencil tool using the letter B. It changes it to the pencil, it changes it back and forth, whichever you would like to use. Okay? Now on the back of this paper, you've got 4 kick drum patterns, you've got 4 snare drum patterns, and you've got 4 hi-hat patterns. And you're going to mix and match them. You're going to pick one kick, one snare, and one hi-hat. And you can see that they have the measure and the beat numbers written on them, which correspond up here to the measure and the beat numbers. And these squares are these squares. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is select a kick drum pattern and draw it in with the mouse. And so I'll choose the first kick drum line and put the first note on beat 1 and put it on measure 1 beat 2, measure 1 beat 3, measure 1 beat 4. If I put it in the wrong place, I can always take it out. It erases it too. Okay, then I'm going to choose a snare drum pattern. I can choose any of these that I'd like. Maybe I'll choose the second one. The second one, the note is on measure 1, beat 2. So I go to the snare drum line, measure 1, beat 2, and plop that in. The next note is on measure 1, beat 4. Next one is on measure 2, beat 2, and so on. Then I'll choose a hi-hat line. Maybe I choose the third hi-hat line. And on the hi-hat closed, I put all the notes from the hi-hat closed line. Okay? Alright, that's pattern number 1. Now I'm going to turn off that green triangle so I don't hear it while I make my second one. I'm going to choose another drum set, drop it into the MIDI track. I can also, it won't let me drop it into these audio tracks, but I can drop it into here, the drop files and devices here. I'm going to double click in a cell. I'm going to turn the green triangle on. I'm going to change the loop length to 2. Okay, then I'm going to pick a different kick drum pattern. Maybe I choose the second one. Alright, and I'm going to choose a different snare drum pattern. Okay, and I'm going to choose a different hi-hat pattern. Alright, and at the end of this, I will have 4 different beats. Okay. And I'll choose maybe the first hi-hat line. Okay. And so on. Turn that off. Bring another drum set in. Alright. Maybe I work in this area. Maybe I delete these audio tracks because I don't need them. Keep working, double click, turn the triangle on, loop length 2, so on and so forth. Okay, hope you have fun making your own beats.